received 47% of the vote, while Daniel Kelly received 25% of the vote, according to TMJ4 News election results. This has been your 1017 The Truth News Update. The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is up next on the new 1017 The Truth.
Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together. They're all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of adjustment.
But answer my question though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
This is The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. Now, I'm asking the mayor and the county council president and the county council. Show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio in Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. I guess, wait a minute. Okay. That's what I get for following Tori, right? That was a joke. 833-212-1017 is the number. I saw a really strange and bizarre story today. And hang on, let me flip to it. And it brought out, hang on. Okay, let me get back behind the mic. It brought out a question that it didn't make any sense. So my issue is this. My question. Oh, by the way, County Executive David Crowley will be our guest at 4:30. So make sure you stick around for that. And then at 5 o'clock, I have the vice president of the Association for the Survivors of the Clotilda. So if you don't know what that is, I strongly suggest you stick around because in the 5 o'clock hour, we've got a phenomenal guest. And you can see it in a Netflix documentary about the Clotilda. And we'll talk about what it is, why it is, how it came to be. But it's kind of strange how some things come to be. Like, what drives a white person to enter society to pass as a Black or minority person? Not mixed culture, not mixed race, but
100% white, yet passes for black. Well, it appears that in the last decade or so, we've seen a relatively new phenomenon of white people who are not content with just like being white. Now, I don't know what it would take to say, hey, I want to pass. I get it. I will say that I understand why black people do it, because sometimes you're treated better. You have access to more resources. There are better assumptions made about you. But then again, maybe whiteness just isn't as, I don't know. Maybe it's not as sexy as it used to be. Or maybe 400 years of white supremacy, white power, whiteness dominating popular culture and everything we do. I mean, I'm still mad at Fox TV. I'm still mad at the CW and the WB. Remember those networks that were fledgling, and when they started out, they had black shows, and black people flocked to them in droves. Remember Martin? All sorts of shows like that. Full of it. Now, all of a sudden, they built up the audience, changed sponsors, and flipped to all white with an occasional black person there. Dominating a culture predominantly made by people that are not you, shaped by black people, has caused some white people to pretend they're black. Raquel Saraswati got a job working for Quakers, actually. Something happened where, as she was holding down the position of Chief Equity, Inclusion, and Culture Officer for the American Friends Service Committee, a prominent Quaker organization known for its progressive values and social justice advocacy in the U.S. and abroad. She was perfect. Here's where you start to question the issue. If you know anything about race, if you know anything about culture, if you know anything about religion, she is Raquel Evita Saraswati, a queer Muslim woman of Latina, South Asian, and Arab descent. Until you talk to her mother. And her mother said, what? Her name is Rachel. And she's British, German, and Italian descent, not Latina, South Asian, or Arab. How do we know that? Because Mama described herself in a way that many white people don't. You know what she said? I'm as white as the driven snow. And so it begs the question, why would you bother to put yourself through the pain, the agony, the distrust, the bias, and the prejudice of being a minority? You actually chose to be one. Which in my eyes makes you pretty bizarre. And yes, I know historically, blacks who are very light-skinned have passed for white in predominantly white cultures. I told a story this morning on 620 WTMJ about a mixed man from the Virgin Islands and Jewish Danish, which I guess is Dutch. Anyway, having to leave town and not marry the woman he loved because she was white and the family wouldn't go for it. And this is 1835. So it's not like it hasn't happened before. He just happened to be the first Black millionaire in America, but I digress. But I guess no matter what you do, no matter how you slice it, Raquel or the Rachel or the other Rachel who pretended to be Black, the opposite of the one phrase that Mama said, I'm white as the driven snow, there's also a phrase that none of them can ever say. Not a one of them can say, I'm Black and I'm proud.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth, Milwaukee's new favorite station.
Can I ask you a question? No, actually you can't, because that was a question. You asked it, so.
Coming with straight truth.
People actually think because they don't have money, they don't have power. But if you vote, you have power.